So guys, today, December 31st, 2023 is the last day of this year before we go into the new year tomorrow. Okay, and what better way to end off this year but with some reborn, okay? I said the best way to end it is if we have a little review. End it off with one of the best series there is, okay? And also some good news that we know of, if you go back 2 weeks ago during Jump Festa, if you guys know or if you don't know, but I'm just going to reiterate the news. But as we all know, Katekyo Hitman REBORN's 20th anniversary is coming up soon on May 24th, 2024. Okay? And during that time, for the 20th anniversary, Akira Amano, the creator of the series, is having an art exhibition that's not only going to show Reborn's artwork, but it's going to show her other two series, Live, as well as Ronkam no Hashi, The Ranged Detective. Might I know, Ronkam no Hashi is greenlit for a second season. So if you guys haven't seen the first season or anything, or if you didn't even know there was a season in the first place, then go watch it now, because there is a second season. We don't know exactly when it is coming out, if it's coming out in 2024 or 2025. So go support that. And if you are going to Japan sometime in 2024, particularly also in the month of May, do check out the art exhibition if you can and celebrate. Now, if there is any news in regards when they do the art exhibition, as well as the celebration of the 20th anniversary of the manga series, and like news in regards of to a potential anime, which many of us, new and especially old fans, we've been praying. We've been praying for a very long time. So if they do announce, just so you guys know, between me and you, I'll tell you guys here up front, I will pause the manga reviews and go straight into reactions. I won't do really necessarily reviews for the anime until it reaches up to wherever I pause in the manga reviews, okay? And that's if they redo the entire series. If they do a continuation, then I'll continue with the manga reviews up until a certain point, or I actually will still pause and then start with the, well, actually no, I'll still continue, because we have not reached that point as of yet in terms of reviews on the channel. And when we do, I will pause and then do the reactions and then do like a compare and contrast between the two. But until then, until we hear anything by May of 2024, we're going to keep on with the reviews. So with the last review of the year, we are at chapter of Katekyo Hitman REBORN. We are at from the last chapter, we are at, and this is actually the last chapter of this volume, the Bunko volumes, 2-in-1 volumes. We are at chapter 125, okay? So this is to continue on with chapter 124. And in 124 basically was the start of the Sky Ring battle. So the final battle of the Scramble half rings, okay? And this battle is just like all the other battles, but there's some extra layers to it. So just like all the other Guardian battles before this one, preceding this one, all of them were basically life and death matches. Like, everybody had to fight with their lives on the line to get their half ring counterpart, right? But coming into this fight, there's changes. So other than just fighting for their lives, both XANXUS and Tsuna, and might I add, everything that cultivated over the course of these battles, from not only the half ring, but to find out that XANXUS is the son of the ninth, to him putting his own father in the Golomoska, and Tsuna fought the Golomoska and destroyed it, not realizing the ninth is in there, that there was basically a coup d'etat in Italy, And this whole thing was transpiring, and XANXUS is just the mastermind behind the whole thing all along, as we come to find out. And it should be no shocker to any of you, unless you are very new to the series within itself. So with this chapter, just before they get really started, they're breaking the Cervello are breaking down the rules of the Sky Ring battle. So again, like I said, it's basically a death match. Okay, they have to put their lives on the line. So once Tsuna or XANXUS wins their battle, they have to put the two halves together to make a whole ring. Come to find out now that basically not only is it a death match between Tsuna and XANXUS, but all the other Guardians' lives are at stake at this point, because the whole point of the sky is to accumulate everything together. The sky is to watch over all the other Guardians. Okay, that's the whole point of the sky, right? So by doing so, Tsuna and XANXUS has to look out for their own Guardians respectively, who is more fit to basically lead the others. So what the Cervello did was, they took obviously the half rings, and even for the Guardians, they said give them their rings, right? And in exchange, they all get like wristwatches that has little tiny monitors, because no one can come and interfere into the fight. If they do, the other side gets disqualified, and then the other side would win. So all the Guardians, and remember, they brought in even the injured Guardians from their previous fights are there as well. So Lambo, who's still on a defibrillator. We have Lucaria, who's strapped to his bed. We have a captured Mammon. We still have the injured Bell and Leviton. And of course, when we have where Yamamoto is questioning where is Squallow after his fight, because we remember during his fight, Squallow pushed Yamamoto out the way, and then Sharks came after him. So the Cervello said, we don't have any clarification on the whereabouts or the condition of Squallow. And obviously this leads to a pain expression on Yamamoto, despite how Squallow treated him and Gokudera the first time they met him when he came to Japan attacking Basil, right? So the Cervello gives every Guardian, aside from Tsuna and XANXUS, like a wristwatch, something similar to like an Apple Watch or a Galaxy Watch or something, and they can see and watch on there basically the fight, and they have projections around the school. On top of that, the Guardians are also going to fight again. They're going to fight again. So they're basically telling them it's like a free-for-all. Okay, so you're separated from the main match, but they put up towers. And on top of the towers, that's why they asked them for the rings back. On top of the towers, all of the Guardian rings are on this plate at the very top. So the respective Guardians now have to fight each other and basically climb this tower to retrieve back their rings. So basically they're doing the scramble all over again, right? So they have these wristwatch to watch the battle as Tsuna is fighting, but at the same time they're fighting for their rings again. And it just makes you think, so what was the point of the fights in the first prior plays? Because if we have to fight for them again, even though we won them, then who truly wins at the end of the day? And more likely it's whoever wins the sky battle overall, it dominates everybody else. Cool. So while they did say that and everything, and Tsuna's crew ends up doing their little chair victory to cheer Tsuna in his battle against XANXUS, because this is the toughest opponent so far that Tsuna has to face off against, and one of the most dangerous opponents that Tsuna has to face at the time of the series. So they cheer him on and everything. Now there is a flip side to all of this. While they do say the Guardians are also participating in this fight again, and they have to fight back again for their respective rings, come to find out, just as before the battle between Tsuna and XANXUS begins, every single Guardian hears a click and they feel a pinch in their wrist, right? Come to find out, these wristwatch aren't only just to see the battle that's going on and basically like a countdown or anything, but it administered a poison, an instant fast poison into their bloodstream, right? And this poison that's been injected into every single guardian is going to basically kill them within 30 minutes if they do not retrieve their rings to once they inject it into the wristwatch, and that basically administers the antidote to waver the poison. Okay, so this poison immediately numbs the nerves, right? And it's a slow acting, well, I wouldn't even say slow acting, but the more the poison spreads throughout the body, the more numb and paralyzed the person becomes, and then within basically half an hour, 30 minutes, the individual dies. So Tsuna now has to worry about not only fighting to get his half of the ring in order to become the successor, to be at least noted as the successor of the Vongola. He has to worry about facing off against XANXUS, who really wants to end him. And then 2, he has to worry about getting the rings, which they provided him with a chain. So on top of fighting XANXUS, he has to now find a way to get to these towers. Might I add, the towers are placed in the respective fields where every guardian has fought. So in the gymnasium, the field that Ryohei fought against Lusaria, inside the school building, the school building is kind of destroyed, so Gokudera's tower versus Bell is outside, but it's close to where the 3rd floor was. Yamamoto is back inside the building where they had the water and everything between him and Squallow, and the rooftop with Lambo versus Leviton and everything. So the towers are basically put back in their respective spots for each individual guardian's fight, right? So again, on top of Tsuna having to worry about his fight against XANXUS, he has to make sure before 30 minutes are up, right? He has to go to these individual towers to get the rings and then administer the antidote by putting it into the wristwatch to dispel the poison before it ends up killing them. But that leaves the other side to suffer, right? So it's a messed up situation all along, and the whole time XANXUS is smiling because XANXUS is the one behind all of this, because he knows it's going to get into Tsuna's head, right? So while Tsuna is worrying about this and everything, and he's talking to, he's listening to Cervelo, we have instantly where XANXUS goes on the first strike. He goes on the offensive and he instantly punches Tsuna, right? Remember, the Cervelo said there's no interference once the fight starts, and they didn't even start the fight. They didn't even say, yo, the fight starts. XANXUS goes on to the move. He punches Tsuna. And then he's asking Reborn, oh, he didn't manage to get hit with the Dying Will bullet. And, Reborn has like a little cocky smirk and it's like, do you know who you're dealing with? He already shot Tsuna with the Dying Will bullet before XANXUS was able to hit him, crashing him into the school building. And we have it where by the time the chapter ends, Reborn is telling Tsuna that, like, if you keep on worrying about helping your guardians and making sure that they're well, you'll end up dying in this battle. And we have Tsuna, who's now in his hyper Dying Will mode, is telling back to Reborn, I'm not going to worry about that. My first priority is dealing with him, okay? And that's where the chapter ends, right? So the smirk that XANXUS had on his face for the entirety of the chapter is instantly wiped off because he was shocked, first and foremost, that Reborn was fast enough to shoot Tsuna, and that Tsuna now is ready to go, okay? So now this chapter ends with basically the start of the fight. XANXUS first went on the offensive, and by next chapter, we're gonna see finally, this time around, instead of Tsuna being scared of XANXUS, he's about to duke it out with him. And he only has less than 30 minutes to go if he wants to go and save his friends, okay? So guys, do tell me on how you feel about chapter 125 of Katekyo Hitman Reborn. Of course, again, if you are new, how do you think this entire fight is going to go out? Do you think Tsuna is going to have enough time to deal with XANXUS first and foremost, because he is the most dangerous, and also the fact that since XANXUS cultivated this entire plan, and on top of that, we still have to get information about the cradle incident that happened several years prior to the current timeline of Katekyo. We also have to deal with the fact that, you know, the people in Italy, also with the 9th, okay? And then on top of this, everybody, both sides of the groups are slowly dying, or they're dying at a fast rate or immediate rate. They only got 30 minutes left to live, okay? And they came and fight amongst themselves to get the rings to administer the antidote for themselves, right? And we have also, oh, I forgot to mention, but Dr. Shamal managed to be there. So do you think Dr. Shamal is going to be able to play, or he's just going to be there just to be on the standby to see the final fight happen for the half ring scramble battle? Okay, the links are in the description box. And guys, I wish you all a happy new year. We're going to start off the new year right within this week. Obviously, there's going to be new shows out, so stay tuned for that. I have new shows coming out, as well as shows that's been happening from fall of this season that's still going into winter 2024. So those are going to continue on. Just to tell you, other than just my Katekyo, I have Yubi Saki to Ren, on top of Witch and the Beast, Solo Leveling, and shows that's continue on into winter 2024 is Ragna Crimson, and of course Undead Unluck. Do tell me what shows you guys are watching, and also what mangas you guys are reading. And again, I'm Kimi-chan of Anime Legends. The links are in the description box, and I will see you guys in the new year. Bye!